Hi math students, this video is to help you with your pre-algebra Unit 1 Lesson 4 focus notes. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is print out this paper right here. If you don't have a printer, that's okay. You can use your own notebook paper to follow along and write down the notes that I write down. So either print this or use your own notebook paper right now and follow along as I go, and you're going to write down everything that I write down. And then at the end, you're going to have a chance to submit this for your assignment. Okay, so our essential question, this is like our first question, our big question, what are we doing here? How do we add integers? So we're not going to answer this question right now. We're just thinking about this as we go through these notes. Okay, our initial question, this is like a smaller question, our first question. What are the different kinds of integer addition problems we could see? Again, we are not answering this right now. We're just thinking about this as we go. And by the end, we should be able to answer these questions. Okay, our source or sources. So for this question, adding integers, we're going to focus on lesson 4 in our pre-algebra course. So for our source, I'm going to write lesson 4. You could, of course, also search the internet, go on Khan Academy or Virtual Nerd. There's tons of resources on adding integers, but we're just going to focus on lesson 4 in our course right now. All right, some key academic vocabulary. So there's just one word we need to know for this assignment, and that's integer. So the definition I want you to write for integer, and by the way, feel free to pause the video anytime if you need extra time to write down these definitions or anything at all, and then just push play when you're ready. So integer is a number that is not a fraction. And in parentheses, I'm going to write or decimal. So a number that's not a fraction or decimal. So here are some examples of integers. 7. It's not a fraction, it's not a decimal. -3. That's also not a fraction or a decimal. How about 5,624? -213. These are all integers because they don't have decimals or fractions. The absolute value is a whole number. Okay? Okay, so applying what you know now. So here's the example, -3 plus 7. So we're not going to solve this yet, but the question says, are the signs of the two numbers being added here the same or different? So the sign means like this is -3 and this one's +7. So since this one's negative and this one's positive, the signs are different. And this will impact how we add the integers. But right now we're just listing that the signs are different. Our second example is -1 plus -9. So are the signs of the two numbers being added here the same or different? So we have -1 and -9. So the signs are the same. That's all you have to do on that part. So now we're going to look at those exact same questions that we just did right there on the next page. But now we're actually going to solve the problem. And there are so many different methods for adding and subtracting integers, but I'm going to show you a couple, and you're welcome to use any of those or your own method, as long as you get the right answer, of course. So show your work in solving these problems. So first I'm going to show you a kind of a visual way. So -3 plus 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 3 negative signs, so go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to put 7 positive signs underneath. So notice how I lined them up so that one negative matches with one positive, and then I had some extra negative or extra positives here. So I like this visual representation because what it shows here is if I have one negative and one positive, this equals 0. That cancels out. It's like -1 and +1, that equals 0. Take one away and add one, that equals 0. So all of these that have a match, those are 0. They cancel out. And what I'm left with is 4 positives. So the answer to this problem is +4. -3 plus 7 is +4. I had 3 negatives, 7 positives, and that equaled out to +4. You can use a number line to add these. So if I do a number line, here I'll just put 0 in the middle and get a few numbers on here. So you always start at 0 for your number line problems. So I'm going to represent this -3, I'd have to go backwards 3. 1, 2, 3. and then plus 7. So now I'm going to, from that spot, I'm going to go forward 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you can see I still land here at positive 4 as my answer. So this is how to use a number line. So I went backwards 3, forward 7. So that's another option. As we go through some of these, you'll probably end up having a favorite method, and that's awesome. And if you like all the methods, feel free to switch them up whenever you want. Eventually, you're going to get to the point, too, where you can just look at this problem, and you've done enough of these to know, oh, that's positive 4. I can tell that I have 4 more positives here. Okay, let's look at another example. So -1 plus -9. Okay, so if I'm going to go with this visual representation again, I'm going to start by putting 1 negative. And now I have 9 more negatives. So I'm not going to go underneath. That's where I was putting the positives. I don't have any positives here. I just have more negatives. So I'm just going to keep adding to this negative row. 9 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more. So I don't have anything to cancel out like I did over here. I don't have any zeros. All I have here is now 10 negatives. So the answer to this problem is -10. I can also do that on a number line to show you that method. I'm going to put my 0 over here this time because I know where I'm going. So this is, I'm just filling in my number line here. So I always start at 0 on my number line. So I need to represent -1, so I'm going to go backwards 1. And then I'm adding a -9. So I need to go backwards 9 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more. And you can see I still landed at -10 as my answer. Okay, so back to the question above where we were asking if the signs are the same or different. So when the signs are the same, we kind of added the numbers, 1 and 9. We added those and we said that's 10, and we kept the negative sign because the signs were the same. When the signs were different, we ended up subtracting the numbers. 7 minus 3 was 4. And then the answer has the sign of the bigger number. Because there was more positives, it ends up being positive 4. So many methods out there. You're going to end up picking which one you like the best. Okay, so let's do some more problems here. -10 plus 4. For this one, I'm just going to do the visual model, but you can do whichever one you want. So -10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. +4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know these are my zeros that cancel out. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 negatives left. So -6 would be my answer. This is my favorite method. I think it's quick, but you can choose your own method. Let's go to this one, -3 plus -7. So I have 3 negatives and then 7 more negatives. Make sure you don't try to put those underneath. Remember, that's where the positives go. Like if I'm going to cancel things out, these 7 negatives just keep going in the negative line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I don't have anything to cancel out. I just have 10 negatives. So -10 is my answer. -2 plus 15. So I have 2 negatives. 15 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I have some zeros that can cancel out. And I'm left with 13 positives. And I'm telling you, once you do enough of these problems, you're not going to need this picture anymore. Your mind is going to do this picture for you just by looking at the numbers. And that's kind of cool. So for example, on this one, -10 plus -30. I don't really want to write 10 negatives and then 30 more negatives. I'm going to picture this in my mind, or I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to know I have 10 of them, and then I have 30 more of them. And I'm going to say, okay, well, that's 40 negatives. So this is not an actual visual representation, just to make sure you see that. This is just me sketching it out because I didn't want to have to draw 30 negative signs. I know from doing a few of these problems that they're all going to be negatives. So that's going to be 40 negatives, -40. Okay, so now that we've done these few of these problems, now we're going to try to answer that question way back from the beginning of the assignment. How do we add integers? So that's what you're going to list here. So you can write this out in words. You can give an example, talk out one of these problems, whatever you want to do to describe how do we add integers. Write that here, a couple sentences. And how can this be applied when solving problems with the addition of integers? So, like, why did you learn that? Why do you need to know how to add positives and negatives? Where is this going to help you? So go ahead and write something down right here. Then you're going to be able to submit this assignment. I do want to highlight this next assignment after this. It's called a Flipgrid discussion. You're going to record a short video of yourself explaining how to add integers. Don't skip this. This is really easy, and it's a great way for me to get to see what did you just learn. So all you have to do is record a video of yourself telling me how to add integers. So you can say something like, "Hi, Mrs. Anderson. I just want to tell you how to add integers. And I'm going to use this example right here, negative 10 plus 4. First, I wrote down 10 negative signs. Then I wrote down 4 positive signs, and I see that some of them canceled out. So I was able to know that the answer is negative 6. It can be as simple as that when you're doing your Flipgrid discussion. You can give different examples. You can show yourself writing on paper. You can show your face. Whatever you want to do for that is fine. Okay? So go ahead and finish writing your summary right here, and then you can submit this focus notes document.